Okay, so we are back to discussing the Yellow Book by Leonora Serafica de Guzman, and we are now in chapter 6, the helping relationship. Okay, so the relationship is the integral part of the helping process kasi wala namang helping process kung wala kayong client-worker relationship. So ito yung bridge channel through which help is extended to the client. So through the relationship, you're able to give help to your client. So the anchor which holds the helping process in place. So according to Perlman, ito yung condition in which two persons with some common interests between them, long-term or temporary, interact with feelings. So we cannot deny naman na may feelings involved sa social work. So we cannot say na it's total erasure or not having feelings at all, but it's a feeling wherein you want to help your client achieve the best that they can have. So in the sense of social work relationship, hindi ito made up but is sometimes assumed. Meron lang long-term proximity between two people because you're working together for some significant amount of time until you do achieve your goals. And it exists when there is an emotionally charged interaction between two people because again, may emotions din talaga na involved when you deal with your clients and how your client sees you as well. And then yung feeling that you are being at one or either at odds. But ideally, social work, you should be at one with your client. So ano yung purpose ng relationship sa social work? So it is needed because it is a means of communication between the client and the worker, albeit it is a professional one. So professional relationship po ito. So the channel for the delivery of services is done through your relationship. Ito rin yung helping another person using your professional knowledge, values, and skills, as well as a conscious, deliberate alliance of the worker and the client formed and maintained to achieve a goal. So conscious meaning hindi ito kusang nangyayari. You do have to choose whether or not this client becomes your client. And it's deliberate, meaning it's purposeful. Alliance, meaning you guys are working towards the same goal. It is formed and maintained because you want to achieve something. And it ends when the purpose has been achieved or is judged to be unachievable. So pag wala na talagang nangyayari and you feel like you're not achieving anything at all from your client-worker relationship, then it might be time to end it. So ano nga yung rapport? For according to Hamilton, it is a relationship that only starts when rapport is created for a professional purpose. So when there is no rapport, according to Hamilton, there's no relationship yet. It is said to exist when there is a comfortable, warm, and close relationship between the helper and the helpee, ensuring they're working together to solve or alleviate the latter's difficulty. So the client must feel comfortable enough with you that they are able to gain a sense of trust in your ability to help them. Kasi pag yung client is distrustful, which is the norm initially, if your client is distrustful of you, then it will be difficult for them to open up, to share what it is that's bothering them and how they feel about it, what they want to do if they don't see you as a presence that they can be close with. So sometimes there is interaction but no rapport. This is usually the case for social workers who don't try to extend their own personal touch to the way that they help clients. Of course, it's a personalism that is professionally done, but sometimes, yung client nag-interact lang kayo because kailangan, okay? Because they need something from you and you need to provide a service to them, but there is no rapport, there's no personal touch to it. So relationship is established the moment the client asks for help and indicates that he is ready to use it. So our relationship must be, of course, it must be accepting, meaning tanggap mo yung client at yung client is alam niya na tanggap mo siya. Dynamic, so it's always moving, always changing. Emotional, of course, a relationship is naturally emotionally charged. It should be purposeful, so may reason bakit may relationship kayo ng client. Time limited kasi relationships, client worker relationships and social work are always bound to end. It should be unequal kasi no matter how much we do try to encourage clients to speak up and self-determination, we do know that there is a power dynamic wherein the social worker is above the client for reasons that they are a professional and they have knowledge, skills, and values that the client may not have as a layman. No, so it should be unequal because we are responsible for guiding the client, of course. Should be honest, coming from a genuine place of concern. Realistic, meaning you're not promising your clients like anything crazy that they may not be able to achieve. It should be responsible. So you as a worker, of course, as a professional in this relationship, you are responsible in providing the client the guidance that they need, but also setting the boundaries of the relationship as well as exercising judgment. So what are the phases of the helping relationship? So first is yung beginning. So ito yung testing period. Yung client at yung worker is inaalam pa yung isa't isa, and then they're sizing up each other like, can this person help me? Or from the part of the worker, you're looking at the client's ability to receive the help. So the client must perceive the worker as understanding and genuinely interested in his well-being. So dapat nakikita ng client yung worker as a person na nakakaintindi sa problema niya at may totoong interest talaga sa kanyang well-being. So this is the part where you begin to explore the problem. You tend to look at it from a perspective that is professional, of course, and it ends. This phase ends when the worker and client reach an unspoken agreement to work on the problem together. At bakit ito nag-end? And that is because we lead to the middle phase. This is what we call the working period, or the period when the worker and the client play their respective roles and perform their tasks to solve or alleviate the problem. So dito na yung action phase. Changes will be taking place during this time. It is focused on implementation and goal attainment. And both the worker and client now undertake the activities that they have negotiated or planned at the start. And then you have, of course, your ending. So everything must end. It is your termination phase. It may be temporary or just a transition. For example, if you want to transfer the client to another agency or something. So your relationship with the client ends, of course, but it will be a transition with the client and the other social worker. And there is always a possibility for a comeback from the client. Kasi minsan, things happen and they come back to the agency for another form of intervention. So what are the general roles of a social worker according to de Guzman? So we have first the social worker as a catalyst. So we are expected to enhance the client's psychosocial functioning and to catalyze that change. And then we are also enablers. We supply, we provide, or we link the client with the means in which they can achieve their goals or to enhance their social functioning. So enabling, meaning you give them the power, you give them the resources that they need to do that. And then 3 is the change agent, so somewhat similar to catalyst, but the worker becomes an instrument of transformation because through us, we can induce the change in our clients. And then number 4 is activist, so we are also people that work for change. But what are the specific social work roles? We have number 1, direct provider. So nagbibigay tayo ng tangible aid sa client kasi minsan may mga clients na they just have situational deficiencies and they just need a little bit of help. For example, with your financial assistance, as simple as that, can help turn around their lives. And number 2, case manager. So we oversee the delivery of social services, especially for multi-problem clients. 3, mediator. So we act in behalf sa ating mga client. Naghahanap tayo ng resources at nililink natin sila towards that. And then facilitator, we help remove obstacles by exercising rational thinking through non-formal adult teaching strategies, and we also come up with new perspectives. So we facilitate changing and learning. Number 5 is a therapist. Sometimes we are concerned with the treatment of our client's illness, not necessarily the medical treatment, but the overall social, emotional factors surrounding a person's illness. We are also able to address that. 6 is a mobilizer. So we assemble and energize existing resources to bring them to bear a problem because we look at the client as a resource in itself. So there are resources that exist both within the client and around the client that they may not be cognizant of. And we need to mobilize those resources to help address the problem. Number 7 is we are also advocates. So we seek some change in the policies or programs for the benefit of our clients. We act as a spokesperson and we take a partisan interest in their well-being. And number 8 is the social worker is also a role model because our client looks at us as a pattern of behavior wherein they can emulate and serve almost like an inspiration to them. So chapter 7, methods of intervention. So how does a social worker do social work? So we have number one, social casework, of course. So individualized form of helping people cope with personal problems on a one-to-one basis. So one-to-one meaning the social worker and one client. But this does not necessarily mean that you only work with just the client. You also have to work with the family sometimes or any other people in their immediate environment that you think may be either helpful or detrimental to their change. So it involves use of resources um, to facilitate the individual's adjustment to social living according to Richmond. So there are three fundamental characteristics in social casework. One being individualization, meaning each client is different from another. You have the client-worker relationship because you're more hands-on with your client, and then social treatment. The second direct method is social group work. So it is a method through which individuals and groups are helped by a social worker to relate themselves to people and to experience growth opportunities because of this relationship. So this is based on the premise that human beings have a common need to participate in group life. So we naturally tend to move around in clusters. Um, no matter how much we do want to be individuals in ourselves, and we are individuals, but there will be times that, as the cliche saying says, no man is an island. And so there will be times wherein we will want to become part of something. And it's just a normal human need to feel like that. So group work works with groups in order to help individuals and the groups themselves to relate with each other and experience that growth. And the third direct method is community organization, which is described by Arthur Dunham as the process of bringing about and maintaining adjustment between social welfare resources and social welfare needs within the geographic area. So geographic area is how we normally see community organization, but of course we do understand that the ideas of community has broadened from just being from just being limited to one geographic area into a much wider sense of community. So there's that. And it's also concerned with development of people using community projects. So what are the secondary methods of intervention? So kung yung primary is social casework, social group work, at community organization, yung secondary methods naman natin is yung administration, which includes the responsibility for goal attainment and organizational maintenance activities usually done in social work agencies. The process by which the objectives of a social welfare agency are achieved through the effective utilization or the administration of men, money, materials, machine, methods, time, and space. So, as an agency, your resources are most importantly your men or your staff, right? And then also yung may money involved, of course, your finances, yung materials, machines that you may have, any methods that you have, and then your time and your space. And then yung secondary method is your research. So social workers are also involved in the systematic investigation, inquiry, and study of a problem because we want to understand the problem. How can we work with the clients knowing that they have problems that we don't understand, right? So it is our goal to investigate, to inquire, and to study a problem because we want to add more knowledge so that we can improve our own social work practice. So what are the practice approaches? We have first, of course, in the Philippines, yung generalist approach. Ito ay pinapractice ng isang social worker na nagbibigay ng serbisyo sa mga kliyente kung saan yung kanilang problema nila ay general. So expert interventions are not needed. So according to Ripple, a generalist is more of a versatile worker who has the basic skills of observation, communication, and problem solving. So very basic lang na provision of approach. And it requires the worker to study the client system and the environment so that she can determine the appropriate method of intervention to use. Next naman is yung specialization approach. So nagpa-practice ka sa isang specific area or field na nagre-require ng expert knowledge at skills mo. So it may be focused to the population served or any other focal problems. And usually these types of approaches has a special interest. So for example, if let's just say you're a social worker that you specialize in child welfare, you're obviously not going to work in corrections for adults. So it needs a specialized approach that somebody like you may need to be able to learn more about because you need to be specialized in the child and how they work, how they function, the problems that they face. Meron din tayong clinical social work. So this is a direct service to people. Ang purpose ng clinical social work is ang pag-maintain at pag-enhance ng psychosocial functioning ng mga tao by maximizing availability of needed interpersonal, meaning with other people, intrapersonal within themselves, and societal resources. So, clinical social work is focused on psychosocial functioning. Meron din tayong crisis intervention approach. It is a recognized and accepted form of social work practice in direct work with individuals, families, and groups. So this is more on micro meso level. So this is a first line intervention with clients in stress. So we do not do crisis intervention if the client is not undergoing stress. So it aims to prevent psychosocial stress from becoming debilitating. So we know and we understand that yung client natin is undergoing a crisis, right? So our goal is to prevent that psychosocial stress that already exists from stopping them from total breakdown or total dysfunction. So our goal is to reduce the harmful effects of the stressful events. So reduce meaning we understand the merong harmful effects, but we just want to reduce it and to help mobilize latent capacities. So the person in crisis is a person whose equilibrium is acutely upset due to exposure to a hazardous event. So sa crisis intervention, we understand na may nangyari first the crisis before they're even in need of crisis intervention. Next is yung total family approach. So we discover and we utilize the strengths within the family to help the individual. So social work by nature places great value on the family because we understand that the family is a basic social institution, but we also know that the family plays a huge role in the individual's development and functioning. And we give importance to the natural ties of love that binds members of the family. So approaches, Baranganic approach. So application of the community organization method using the barangay council as a point of entry. So this is a approach that's unique to the Philippines because we have a Baranganic system. And this was introduced by the DSWD in the 1970s and is based on and uses the CO method. So it's a more grassroots type of approach. And then you have your community outreach. So these are the efforts of a social agency that makes available the social services it has to offer to a community who it believes can use some assistance without waiting for the people to come to the agency for help. So there is a type of client wherein they walk in, right? They personally ask for the help. But sometimes, especially in the cases of communities na malalayo, we need to do the outreach to approach them because they may not be able to have the access or the ability to come to your agency for help. So the integrated practice approach incorporates what is common or generic in all the three primary methods of social work intervention, which are your casework, group work, and CO. So you use direct practice methods either singly, serially, or in combination. So chapter 8, tools and skills. So what is a tool? A tool is anything regarded as necessary in the carrying out of one's occupation or profession. So para sa isang social worker, ang ating mga tools ay ang interviewing, discussion, at referral. So kailangan nating maging expert sa paggamit ng ating mga tools so that we can further the liberal use of social work techniques. So ano nga ba ang unang tool? First is interviewing. So ito yung main tool na ginagamit ng mga social workers, of course. It is a set of verbal and nonverbal interactions usually conducted between two people or more. And the main purpose ng interviewing is ang makakuha ng impormasyon para makapag-decide tayo kung ano ang ating course of action. Other purposes of interviewing include providing therapy, of course, by asking our clients kamusta sila, resolving a disagreement, and considering a joint undertaking. So, sa interviewing, ito yung tool ng social worker wherein we carry the most responsibility. So, paano pag-establish nito? So, we must be alert in observing verbal and nonverbal cues because even though interviewing is some form of communication that is verbal and discussion, there are also nonverbal cues when we interview a person that even if they say a certain thing, they may not mean it the way that they actually want to. So the questions that we ask should elicit, clarify, or elaborate the problem. So dapat yung mga tinatanong natin is skillfully created and curated so that we can get the information that we want and to create a clear picture of the situation as well as to elaborate what the problem is. So facts gathered must be those that will enable him to make a diagnostic assessment. So the facts and the information that we get from interviewing should be able to help us create the assessment that we need. And subsequent interviews may focus on the services or resources available to the client. So one form of interview that we do is the intake interview, wherein we conduct an interview of the client the moment that they enter the agency. And the purpose of this mainly is to gather the information that we need to get and create a diagnostic assessment. But further interviews, because there will be times, especially for multi-problem clients, the interview process is not just a one and done thing. Sometimes you have to interview them for a few more times to really get the information that you need. And subsequent interviews may focus on the services or resources available. Para alam din ng client yung background ng agency and other resources that they can take. Of course, withstanding that you may have done some research between your first interview and your second interview as well. So what I noticed or from what I experienced with interviewing is that there's an art to asking things because it's normal for, especially for intake interviews where this is your first time interacting with a client. There may be times where they don't want to speak to you about anything or they don't want to tell you because baka nahihiya pa sila or natatakot sila na ma-judge mo. So there are also like some forms of like answers you need that may require you having to ask difficult questions, but with the sense of having questioning as an art and a skill, you definitely need practice when you're conducting an interview para marunong kang magtanong in a way na hindi na feel ng client na ginajudge mo or ina-accuse mo sila of doing something. So for example, if you have to ask like a client if they have ever used or are using drugs, it's kind of just very direct for you to say, like, do you use drugs? Or like, gumagamit ka ba? So some of them will naturally feel defensive and say, oh, of course I don't, right? But then the truth is that they may use drugs. So you have to ask it in a way where it's like gentler and also preserving the judgment from that. So when following through from a referral or transfer, a good process recording should show what is the goal, right? What has been done to resolve the problem and where the previous worker left off. But there may be times where you're handling a client that was previously handled from another social worker that you need to interview and to probe even more. So every interview should begin with the establishment of a common understanding that you guys are doing this because it is necessary for you to be able to start the helping process. And each interview is unique depending on the purpose of the worker and the nature of the problem. The second tool of a social worker is the discussion. So it is a type of verbal interaction that is usually an informal conversation among a group of people. So at best, a discussion is a democratic growth experience for the participants kasi natututo sila paano mag-express ng kanilang sarili, albeit in an informal setting. So discussions provide opportunities for one, contributions from different viewpoints kasi in a discussion maraming tao, right? So there's different viewpoints and you guys can bounce off of that. Number two is participation in decision making and plan implementation. So pag may discussion, nakakapag-participate yung mga tao within that discussion para makapag-create ng decision and plan implementation na ayon sa lahat. And three, developing creative potential because nagiging creative kayo in discussing and in creating the plan that you want, as well as learning and growth and change. So discussions are used for almost every purpose in social work. It is normal for us to talk and to talk and to talk. So we can use discussions when we want to have the purpose of learning, therapy, socialization, problem solving, and even just plain recreation. So discussion is a form of communication in which each individual in the group contributes their thinking and participates in decision making. So lahat ng tao within that discussion is able to contribute. Decisions formulated by the group serve as greater motivation kasi nakapag-contribute sila. So if it's just a social worker telling the group, for example, like, oh, this is what you need to do, then walang ownership na nakaakibat dun. So, medyo nahihirapan sila or maybe they may not feel as receptive sa pinopropose mo na intervention. Whereas pag nagdi-discuss yung group and nabibring out yung ano yung mga pros, yung mga cons, any other concerns that a person or an individual may have, um, it's just much better for motivation purposes. And the social worker in a discussion should be alert of the silent majority as some may dominate. So within a group, meron talagang mga people na naturally talkative or naturally expressive and they may dominate the conversation. But yung silent majority, yung mga people na hindi nagsasalita or baka nahihiya or nagsasabi lang na, oh, whatever you guys decide is fine with me, the social worker should be alert of that. Kasi minsan meron din naman talaga silang contribution na maibibigay. It's just that they're apprehensive about doing so. So, ang responsibilities ng group worker as a leader, according to Brill in the discussion phase, is they must see to it that interpersonal relationships in the group are constructive rather than destructive. So, yung relationship at yung bouncing off ng ideas is constructive. It is to build a better or even the best idea possible and not destructive or shutting other people down. So, discussion is also facilitated through setting initial direction. So, prior to discussion, my initial goal na kayo or agenda on what you guys want to achieve from your discussion, right? And three is contributing new ideas and thinking and encouraging others to do so. So it's a team effort. Purposeful leadership and dynamics are aspects of group. So ano ang similarity ng interviewing at discussion? Kasi they're both about conversations and talking, right? So both interviewing and discussion involves at least two or even more people. Right? And then there is also a give and take between and among the participants kasi hindi naman yun lecture na isa lang yung, you're like yung social worker lang yung nagsasalita. So sa interviewing and discussion, may bouncing off of communication there. And that communication is both verbal and non-verbal in interviewing and discussion. You have to look for the people's body language, facial expressions, yung mga habits na ginagawa nila. And they also have a common purpose, which is ang makapag-reach ng understanding at decision. Both may be informal, formal, planned, or even spontaneous. At yung goals na nakakam out dito is either immediate or long-term or both. Ang pinagkaiba ng interviewing at discussion is ang kanilang structure at process. Sa interviewing, dalawa lang kayo, and it's usually, more often than not, quite structured or at least semi-structured kasi may mga questions ka na gusto mo i-ask that you really have to ask to get the information that you need. And then, meron ding difference in the process because sa process is interviewing is more of my faces kasi doon, beginning, middle, and ending. And then the discussion is more like free form and just like as long as you set the goals, you're able to talk about whatever it is you need to talk about. The third tool of a social worker is yung referral. So ginagawa natin ito when a client is helped to move to another resource for service. So walang agency, kahit yung DSWD, na nakakapag-serve ng lahat ng pangangailangan ng tao. Even DSWD refers clients to DOH or DOJ or any other agencies that exist because they can't do everything. So even much more yung NGO, no? So hindi nila nagagawa lahat. That's why they have a thrust and a focus. So referrals are just a much needed tool in social work because the worker is able to link the client to different resources in their vicinity para makapag-provide kung ano man yung kailangan nila na hindi na pa-provide ng agency nila mismo. So the worker must explain to the client yung reason for referral kasi baka ma-feel nila na tinatakwil mo sila. So when referring also, especially even for temporary referrals, you need to explain to the client why you're referring them to this service. And with that, the worker must possess a good working knowledge of the resources available. Kasi paano ka makakapag-refer kung di mo naman alam kung saan like you're the same as a client, you didn't even know where to get this certain help. So the worker utilizes himself as a person but a professional one. So even the worker is a tool. So ginagamit ng worker ang kanyang sarili, bilang isang tao, pero isang professional. Okay? So yung personality ng worker, yung mga strengths niya, yung capacity niya, at kahit yung limitations niya, ay nag-i-influence sa kanyang paggamit ng helping process. So because social work is just a very human profession, the worker uses themselves as a tool as well, and that includes his entire being. So he's not just somebody who does what needs to be done, but also there is a human element to it. Wherein even one social worker will not be the same as another social worker. The fourth tool is your case recording. So an account in writing of the progress of the client in a case as it moves from beginning to termination. So social workers must be adept in documentation. So, dapat napakamarunong nating mag-document at mag-record kung ano man yung mga processes na ginagawa natin, right? So, it is considered an indirect tool of the social work intervention because it's more for us. It enables the worker to see for themselves how the case is progressing based sa recordings na ginagawa natin. So, from the start until like middle and even until termination na vouch natin to ano yung nangyayari sa client. Okay, so ano yung purpose at ginagawa yung case recording? Una is for practice, para makapag-ensure tayo na nabibigay natin ng adequate service ang ating clients, right? Second, for administration, kasi of course, social workers operate under an agency, and we need to be able to be accountable for the things that we have done for and with the client, so to evaluate discharge of responsibility. Three, for teaching and supervision. So, of course, even as interns, you're required to do case recordings para makapag-monitor naman din yung FI mo. And then number 4, for research to discover new knowledge and assist in social policy formulation and planning. Overall, the purpose of case recording is to appraise movement and growth. So ano nga ba yung iba-ibang types of recording? We have narrative, concerned with the reporting of the facts. So yung pagbibigay lang ng facts directly. So meron tayong dalawang versions ng narrative recording. You have year condensed, which is an abridged, compact version, reduced in size, summarized. And then meron din yung process recording, yung written description ng dynamic interview that has taken place in an interview. So pag interview, process recording is naka-verbatim yun. Okay, so kahit minsan yung observation mo na nga, nire-write mo doon na yung client is hindi tumitingin sa'yo or yung client tumatawa habang nagsasalita. So, ganun. So, it should contain the following. Purpose of the interview, why are you conducting this? Yung observation ng worker, description ng intentions mo, impressions, at yung role mo doon, at yung plano na come up mo with your client. And then, another type of recording is your summary recording. So, a review or recap of material from the case record. Summary, meaning panaikli na rin siya, of everything that has transpired. So you have 4 general types. Una is yung social history. Nakalagay dito yung socio-economic, psychosocial, at psychogenetic history mo. Meron din yung periodic summaries, nakaka-cover ng certain period of time lang. So for example, if you do periodic summaries, you may be required by your agency to conduct a quarterly summary ng mga clients mo, for example. Meron ding transfer summary. Pag yung case nililipat sa ibang agency, kailangan may transfer summary yun. At yung closing summary or yung causes at results ng treatment. Another type of recording is your interpretative, diagnostic, and evaluative recording. It points out the meaning of facts and shows the social interpretations of the worker. So for interpretation, may mga facts na binibigay yung client or nalalearn mo. So you need to be able to interpret that. At meron din yung diagnostic and evaluative recording. So you evaluate the progress and you diagnose any possible problems or issues that may have come up, and this is so that you can adjust accordingly. So ano yung mga basic skills in social work? It is defined as the social worker's capacity to set in motion with the client the interventive processes of change. So by Werner Boehm, professional skills is expressed in the activity of the social worker. So dun lumalabas yung skill mo. Yung mga ginagawa mo, dun siya lumalabas. So skill equals your knowledge, yung alam mo, values, what you have as principles, and your activity. Okay, so skills. So, ano yung mga skills ng social worker? Una is yung differential diagnosis. Ito yung abilidad ng worker na maintindihan yung uniqueness ng tao at ng kanyang sitwasyon para makapag-adapt siya accordingly. Meaning that you don't diagnose the same person and you don't diagnose the same problem within 2 different people. Kasi kahit same yung problem nila, they will have their own touch, their own perspective, their own resources, of course, that may not be the same. Yung emotional charge doon, iba-iba. So yung diagnosis ng social worker must be differential, unique to every client, and it must be objective. Walang halong personal beliefs. It should be as objective as possible. And again, no two clients are the same. The second skill is your timing. So, yung tempo ng worker at kanyang pace. So, very important because, no, again, similar to individualization, no two clients have the same timing. May mga clients na mabibilis, may mga clients na you need to slow down and take more time. So, you need to adjust to the client's pace at the beginning, but eventually, as you grow and you work with a client, you, as a worker, should be able to set the tempo. So, hindi pwedeng nagbabagal-bagal lang for no reason. Be prompt, but also accommodative. It is also the worker's ability to take action at some pertinent point in time when it would be most effective. So, for example, in VAUC cases, part of the skill in timing is knowing when to report, if you do have to report. Because when you do and you don't, then the timing is already off, and it may lead to even your client's detriment. So relief delayed is relief denied, right? So especially for urgent cases like VAUC, yung active yung pagbubugbog tapos late ka, or kaya when your client is in active suicide, may ideation at may intent na to do it, tapos delayed yung relief mo, baka mamatay pa yung client mo. So it's very important to time and to check your own pace. Third skill is focusing. So your ability to concentrate on both yours and the client's efforts sa mga significant aspect lang ng situation na kailangang trabahuin. So, especially for the case of multi-problem clients, you want to solve everything for them. But the truth is sometimes you just can't. And minsan yung may time constraint din na involved. So, part of focusing is looking at what needs to be done, not losing sight of your client and their presenting problem, while also knowing that you may have to, or you may or may not have to work on their underlying problem as well, but focusing on what needs to be done first. In relation is yung partialization skill. Ability ng worker na makapag-assess ng totality ng problem at mabibreakdown mo yan into manageable parts. Because again, some people just have like really big problems. And part of your skill is to partialize that para makapag hindi ma-overwhelm yung client, malalaman niya kung ano yung una niyang gagawin first at ano yung parts na gagawa ka ng tasks and then yung subtasks. So some priority must be established, and part of creating a priority is your partialization. Social worker needs to be adept at this because they need to do it step by step. 5 is your structuring. Ability ng worker na makapag-determine ng setting at boundaries na conducive sa paggawa ng work. This includes your physical setting and your time frame related to timing and focus as well. You should be flexible in your structure but also anchored on a solid foundation. Number 6 is case management. Ito yung manner at timing ng pag-deliver ng social services. So, dapat as a social worker, you should ensure na yung resources nyo is available. On time siyang binibigay at delivered sa isang appropriate na manner. Hindi yung, okay, ito yung pera, tapos go ka na. So, it should be thoughtfully done. Number 7 is your skills in establishing partnership. An important component of the social worker's skills kasi partner po kayo ng client nyo. So, you need engagement. Ito yung period during which ang worker is nagre-relate sa kanyang self, sa task at hand. So, parang kumaga lock-in ka. Be empathy. Understanding that is so intimate na yung feeling, thought, at motives ng isang tao ay naiintindihan at nai-embody mo yun. So, C is communication. Ito yung sharing or exchange of thoughts between dalawang tao or more. At D, observation, yung pag-notice mo, pag-pay attention mo, so kung ano yung verbally na sinasabi at yung hindi sinasabi or yung non-verbal. So, Chapter 9, the use of techniques in social work. Ano nga ba yung technique? So, technique is yung systematic procedure kung saan yung complex scientific task is na-accomplish. So, unang technique ng social worker, small talk. Inconsequential conversation siya, but just because it's inconsequential doesn't mean it's not important. It should not be confused with dialogue kasi yung small talk is more informal, right? Advisable lang itong ginagawa pag wala namang urgent matters na kailangan mong gawin at walang pressure. Why is small talk a technique in social work? Because it helps you build a ground wherein nagiging komportable yung client mo. Kasi you guys are not just speaking about problems, but may mga inconsequential conversation and you as a worker can also express yourself in a way na nafe-feed din ng client na tao ka. You are a worker, but you're also a person who can empathize and feel what they feel. So to support, you encourage, you uphold, and you sustain some aspects of the client's functioning. Isang client na nafe-feel nilang may nakasuporta sa kanila is nagkakaroon sila ng courage at lakas ng loob na mag-express ng kanilang feelings at iniisip because otherwise is nasusuppress yun. So pag kahit ikaw, like as a person, if you don't feel that the person you're speaking to is a listening ear, you don't feel their support, you're not gonna feel comfortable sharing your deepest thoughts. So under support, you have your ventilation. Ito yung bringing to the surface or pagpapalabas ng mga feelings at attitudes na kailangang ipalabas. So the purpose is to clear any emotional underbrush that may be obstructing a positive movement. So feelings should not be ignored. So yung clients natin, again, the client-worker relationship is a emotionally charged relationship. Your clients coming from their problems will have feelings that sometimes is very debilitated. The purpose of ventilation is mapalabas yun. Kumbaga sa Bisaya, papahungaw. Right? So, mapapalabas yung mga feelings na naho-hold nila, nasa-suppress nila. Para pag mapalabas nila ito, is we can start moving towards change. So, number 2.4, reassurance, still under support. Yung pag-a-assure sa client na yung situation niya may solusyon at meron siyang capacity na makapag-deal sa problema niya kahit gano'n man yan kahirap. Because if you don't reassure, naturally, clients will feel overwhelmed. They will feel like it's hopeless na yung situation nila, no? So, paano naman yun, paano kayo mag-work kung kahit ikaw social worker, hindi ka nagbibigay ng assurance na kaya mo to, may magagawa pa tayo, it's not too late. So, you should be a comforting and enabling presence for your clients. And then number 3 is your exploration. It is used to elicit necessary information. So, you need to explore, especially pag nag-i-interview ka or kahit hindi, no? So, as your client will present themselves as they see themselves to be, but you need to explore the community, the family, yung dynamics nila, even people in their primary group. So, dapat mong i-explore yun. Kasi may information ka na makukuha from them. So, you bring up details about experiences. For example, especially when the client either does not remember or remembers a specific circumstance differently from you, you need to explore on that. It reveals and gives facts, and you should explore into the client's own behavior. So, ano nga ba yung clarification? You make understandable a point or two. So, ano yung pinagkaiba ng clarification at exploration? Exploration is you don't know yet, but you explore, right? Clarification is minsan may sinasabi kasi yung client na kadalasan may double meaning or kaya they don't mean the exact same thing or baka hindi mo naiintindihan or you need to clarify more. So it's intended to promote self-awareness on the client's part or yung pagkakaintindi niya sa kanyang sarili in relation to significant other person and his situations. It is used in connection and exploration, okay? It ensures that yung worker at yung client ay nasa same na thinking kasi ikaw as a worker, you are asking the client, can you clarify what this means to you? Or because you said like blah 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 blah. Can you clarify what that means? Can you elaborate? Para maintindihan mo yung thought process niya. 5 is your education and advice. Ang worker ay nagbe-base sa kanyang knowledge sa client, sa kanyang situation, at nagbibigay ng suggestions. So you give the client specific recommendations na pag ginawa niya is possibly or parang sureball na yata is makakapag-lead sa attainment ng kanyang goals. At nagbibigay ka rin sa client ng isang importanteng source ng emotional and cognitive stimulation. Kasi yung change is easier achieved ng client kung alam niya ano yung desirable at ano yung effective para hindi na ma-waste yung time nyo. So, understandable naman na yung client is minsan hindi nila alam kung ano yung dapat gawin or hindi nila alam saan pwede lumapit what is best, what should be done first. So part of your job as a social worker is to use the technique and education and advice kasi minsan need talaga ng client na mabigyan ng learnings. Counseling falls within this kasi ito yung provision ng idea, opinion, at suggestion na nakabase sa iyong professional knowledge para makapagbigay ka ng advice na hindi lang feel mo. So it is very professionally sourced. It is most effective yung technique na to, according to Brill, pag una, may crisis at may ability to cope, yung ability to cope ng client sa kanyang problem is nagbe-breakdown. So, pag hindi niya na alam ano yung gagawin niya, dun ka nagagamit ng education and advice. Two, yung client is may well-founded confidence sa iyo at respeto sa iyo sa advice na binibigay mo kasi nga social worker ka. Right? Three, his cultural conditioning or yung situation niya sa buhay is nagka-create ng tendency within the client na mag-depend sa ibang tao para sa direction. Kasi may mga clients tayong very self-directed, they know what they want and they know how to get it. But may mga clients din tayong, for example, even in children, right? They need to consult their parents first. So as a social worker, trabaho mo rin na makapag-guide sa mga clients na ganito. Okay? Four, advice is given in such a way that the person's integrity and right to be self-determining is respected. So advice, meaning you just suggest something, but you don't necessarily have to force them to do whatever it is you want them to do. So, binibigay dapat yung abiso sa pamamaraang, yung integridad at yung right ng person na makapagpamili is hindi naman siya nawawala. Five is circumstances are such that the client has no other alternative but to take the advice. Minsan desperate na eh. Wala na talagang ibang pwedeng gawin but to take the advice of the social worker. So, this is the time na effective yung ENP. Six is universalism. Can you relate? So ito yung utilization ng commonality ng human experiences, meaning of all the people in the world, no matter how unique you may be and how unique you may experience it, you will sometimes, in some situations, have the same problem with other people. At yung strengths ng universalism is nakakakuha ka ng strength ng iba na makapag-cope sa situation dahil similar kayo. So alam mo na, oh, other people have the same problem as mine. How can I learn a thing or two from them? So, ginagamit yung universalism pag gusto mong mag-soften sa overwhelming impact ng situation. Dahil kahit lang pag mo realize mo you're not alone in your problem, it's already a big thing. So, may mga tao lang nakasubok sa nangyayari sa iyo. And they have survived. So, it is also used to share and compare knowledge about the ways of dealing with them. So, if you have clients who are both VAUSI victims, they can share contributions on how they got out of the cycle and blah, 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 blah. And then it also lends the strengths of others to the individual with the problem. So, nabibigyan mo ng boost yung client mo. Seventh technique is your reward or punishment. So, stick or carrot. Rewards for good behavior, punishment for bad behavior. Very simple. Ito yung technique na ginagamit usually but not exclusively to young people. Ginagamit ito pag alam mo yung understanding ng causes ng behavior at ano yung consequences na pwede nilang ma-anticipate pag nagsunod sila sa iyo. So, 8 is your role rehearsal and demonstration. So, ginagamit ito when learning new ways of behavior is required. Clients are required to act out isang situation at mag-assume at magde-develop sila ng feelings na usually nakukuha na talaga nila pag nangyari yung event na yon. So, ano yung purpose ng role rehearsal at demonstration is nagbibigay ito ng insight sa client kung ano yung pwedeng niyang gawin. Okay? So, 9 is confrontation. Kailangan mong ipaharap sa client face-to-face with the hard facts of the situation in the reality scheme. You bring the client face-to-face with the reality of their feeling, behavior, or situation. Isa itong limiting behavior dahil may contradiction between statements at other sources at minsan yung behavior ng client is irrational na. So, kailangan mong i-stop ito. 10 is conflict. So, it is a type of stress produced when a person is motivated by two or more needs in such a manner that the satisfaction of one may mean the dissatisfaction of another one. So, may conflict, for example, conflict of interest. You want to go to school, but then you'd also have to quit your job. And so that leads to satisfaction of your right to education, but also dissatisfaction because you're not going to have income. So it's one of the things that we call conflict. So conflict is part of life. It's just normal, you guys. And even within among people, even among ourselves, there is conflict. And resolution depends on the rational considerations with the recognition of emotion. So in conflict, guys, we cannot deny na may emotions talaga na nai-involve dun. So yung pag-resolve ng conflict, it dapat nandito na yan, yung emotionally charged at yung rational considerations na pwede niyo yung i-take. So 11 is manipulation. Ito yung skillful management of events. Manipulation in social work is not seen as a negative. So the worker can manipulate either the environment or yung situation. Now, bear in mind, remember, may right pa rin ang client at may need to be involved in both deciding and doing kasi sila po yung main character. And then, my client's ability rin to participate and distinction between those activities appropriate for the worker and the client. Number 12 is andragogy or adult learning, described by Malcolm Knowles as the art and science of helping adults to learn. Ang pinaka-great na learning is nagtitake place when teaching involves the individual most deeply in self-directed inquiry. So, pag nagsuspoon feed ka lang dyan, wala namang learning, hindi gaano ka-deep yung learning na nalalearn ng person as compared to may contribution sila. So, enabling adults to assess their needs, formulate goals, share responsibility in designing and carrying out those experiences, and evaluating their own progress. And then the last technique is consciousness raising or conscientization by Paulo Freire, means the arousing of man's positive self-concept in relation to their environment and society sa pamamaraan ng liberating education na nagtitreat ng mga learner bilang active agents and hindi lang passive recipients. So consciousness raising is gaining a critical awareness of your own identity and situation. So paano nga ba ito ginagawa? Through praxis. Reflection, you act, and then you reflect again. So chapter 10, emerging concerns.